Are you ready to listen to a podcast?
Here comes the Playhouse Podcast, thanks to Bradshaw and Bryan Law Offices.
Find, subscribe, and listen.
We've got email, we've got email.
All right, so we got this email from Sonia, and she was basically just laying out the fact that she and her husband, they have fallen on hard times, and she is wondering if she's going the right route, which they've already started. They've encouraged their 16 and 17-year-old boys to get almost full-time jobs. So she said it's almost 40 plus hours a week. One is doing landscaping, and then one is working for her father. And she said that they're each going to have to pay for two separate bills. One is the 16-year-old is paying for the energy bill, and then the 17-year-old is going to be paying for the water bill.
That's crazy. That's a lot of pressure on a 17-year-old, 16-year-old.
I couldn't agree more. I've never thought that any child, and I think 17, still, a child should know about their parents' finances. I think that is a big burden. No matter how tough finances would be in my house, my kid would never know. I think it's up to you to find a creative way.
I see the flip side, though, because you want them to learn, right? You don't want them to always think that everything's just rainbows and
Well, what are they learning? What are they learning?
They're learning that there's a struggle out there and that you're going to overcome, right?
Yeah, but what age should they start learning about that?
Oh, I think that's early. That's like 9, 10.
You think 9?
Yeah.
9-year-olds, 10-year-olds should have that on their shoulders?
I don't think they should have a worry, but I
stuff?
think they should understand that it's not easy and that nothing is just given to you.
How would that not be a worry? I would completely worry constantly.
I think you can find a way. I think you can find a way to let your kids know that you're working extra hard to make sure that they're getting good things and not necessarily like... I think my kids know that we work really, really hard to make sure that they have basically everything they need and then a whole bunch more.
Yeah.
And I don't think they worry, but I don't think they know their parents aren't rich.
I think at any moment in time when you have the conversation with kids that money is tight, that will 100% stress a child out. So to have a 16-year-old and then a 17-year-old working to pay bills that I think are parents' responsibilities, your energy bill and your water bill, well, they're your responsibilities. I know that you're falling on hard times, but have them get a job to support themselves and everything they need for the summer.
I get it.
That could be the spin. You know, like you guys are old enough to get a job. Anything you need, your gas, your fun money, you got to start saving money. But don't say your dad and I need your help while you live here. We can't afford the water that you shower with. I think it's like, I don't know, Sonia. I'm not hip.
So you're not feeling making the kids have full-time jobs?
No, and full-time jobs, it's not during the school year. So I'm okay with a job like that, somewhere for them to be and being responsible during the summer. I agree with that. But to say, here's your bill, you have to pay this for the whole family, 16, 17 years old, no. Got an email from Sonia, and we heard what her issue was. She has a 16-year-old, 17-year-old that she has had get almost 40-plus hour-a-week jobs because she and her husband can't quite afford life right now. A lot of people are dealing with that, but she is now given the responsibility of paying the energy bill to the 16-year-old. The 17-year-old has to pay the water bill, and she's going to have them do this all summer to just kind of alleviate some of the cost stress, which I don't think I'll ever agree with, a parent sharing the burden of finances with their kids. 16, 17, yeah, they're older. I know they're just a couple of years away from being an adult, but especially younger kids, no way. Can you imagine laying your head in your pillow? You're like, I'm not as well off as my friends, I guess. You know, my parents are we poor? And then they worry. No kid should worry like that.
Miranda, thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, my parents kind of did the same thing to my sister and I. They didn't make us pay the whole bill, but, you know, at one point in time, I was taking an hour-long shower, you know, 'cause I had no concept of what water costs and heating water costs. And at one point in time, they told me to stop, and I was like, yeah, I know better.
Yeah.
And so,
of course you did.
At one point in time, they said, okay, you're going to pay the difference. And the difference ended up being like $100. I was like, oh, okay, quick showers. Got it. I'm on it.
Okay, so you think this is a lesson? It's not a lesson. She's not doing this as a lesson. she said in her email it's because she's fallen on
But
hard
it will
times.
be a lesson. I mean, they're going to value the cost of stuff a lot
If
more.
she had spun it like a lesson, I would have no problem with it. Because I do agree that kids should be conscious of leaving lights on all the time. Derek should be conscious of leaving lights on all the time. But
I spend almost half of my free time right now walking around my home
I
shutting
hate it.
lights off.
Yeah, same. But
Yeah, I mean, if it's not spun as a lesson, if it's just we need help, I mean, that's a hard one for me. I think I would have to agree with you, Kat, because
yeah,
it's a burden because every child wants to help their parents and their family
Mine
however
don't.
they can, but
JJ's does.
Not one of them do.
I mean-
Not one of them care at all of any of the struggles my wife or I have.
You think we'd get like a 1 out of 3?
It's
maybe
ugly.
it's because you've just done such a good job at hiding any sort of issues you guys might have.
No,
No?
they're just
I have no
they're
words
just
for you then.
spoiled children.
He's lost.
They're overly spoiled, and there's no getting them back. And I just can't wait till they all get out of the house now.
Miranda, I think you're like me. You're on the same wavelength. I just think these are your bills. You know, like why would someone else have to pay your bills? Like if they're paying their own
I
bills.
look at it the same way. Why would you look at it and go, well, we can't afford this house, but if we make the kids work, maybe we can get that bigger house. I mean, to me, that's in the same vein, and it's just not fair.
Yeah.
Your decisions are not supposed to be put on them, which is why I think if they're using up a lot of the utilities, then maybe it's a lesson learned to go, okay, guys,
Yeah.
it's getting tough out there. I bought 3 bags of groceries, and it was $100. Let's have a conversation about what we do during this time.
Yeah, we're all in the same boat. It's just a crazy time right now, going to the grocery store, seeing that bill, going to the gas station, seeing that bill. So I wonder if we followed Sonia around throughout the day, if there were things that maybe we
I'm
could
sure
cut
there
out.
is. You can take anybody who's an efficiency expert and start chopping this down a little bit. Hey, thanks, Miranda. We really appreciate your thoughts this morning.
Have a great day, guys.
Yeah, you too. Take care. I got time for one more call real quick. Tracy, thoughts on this? Making the kids pay the bills?
I think it's a good idea. I mean, especially in this day and age, I think it would keep children out of trouble. It would teach them responsibility. I myself am a mother, and thankfully we're doing fine now, but we had really suffered a hardship when COVID first hit, and my children, what we did is we started a garden, and I had my children sell vegetables right out of the garden. And honestly, I think it was like it taught them to appreciate things and know that you have to, like, things just aren't given to you. You know, stuff that we as adults take for granted, like credit cards, for example. My daughter, who's 7, sees that I'm paying for something with a credit card. She doesn't understand that, like, I have to then pay back the credit card bill.
So with your kids being so young, you're still open and honest about hardships that you guys fall on when it comes to your money?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And do you feel like they think about that too much? Like as kids, I feel like maybe that's a little too young to have to worry that your family is...
I want them to think about it. That's the whole point, is that I want them to think, like, is that a want or is it a need? Like, do you need that hoverboard or do you want it?
Yeah.
You know, and I just try to teach them the difference between, wanting something and needing something, and just to prioritize. I don't care how young they are. If they're old enough to talk, then they're old enough to comprehend.
Well, good looking out. Thank you. I know women don't traditionally go through a midlife crisis like a man does. Like, it's typically, a guy's going to go through a midlife crisis. What does he do? He buys a Corvette, gets a divorce, gets a young girlfriend, right? That's always kind of what you see in movies and stuff like that. Do you feel, though, that you'll hit a midlife crisis here?
I don't know. I
think
feel
you're
like
gonna
life
go through
is getting much better as I get older.
I'm sure it is. But in 8 years, you will be empty nesters, kid gone. That's it.
Why do you say
He'll
stuff
be
like
starting
that?
his own life. It won't need you anymore.
Yes, he'll live with me.
It'll be you and Derek. And how long do you think you're going to survive without a buffer zone as a kid?
We'll be fine as long as... Is Netflix still around?
I think Netflix
Hulu,
will still be
HBO Max,
around.
we're good to go. No, that'll be a whole nother chapter. I'm not ready for that. You're getting me misty. I
I'm
hate you.
so ready for it. I can't tell you how ready I am to just spend time with my wife.
You have less than 4 years.
And not have these kids around anymore. So Nolan, he's 14. So, yeah. And the weird part, I told Tricia this yesterday. I said, you know what's really weird? Is when my 14-year-old gets out of the house, my now 20-year-old should be career, probably wife, maybe kids by then.
Crazy.
And I'm like, good. I've worked so hard to get you guys out of here.
Then you got overnights with a new grandbaby. You're going to be a grandpa in like 2 years.
It better be longer than that.
That's exciting.
You put a helmet on the soldier when he goes into battle, son. But I was thinking, I don't know what a midlife crisis is going to be for me, because I thought I would have went through one when I bought the moped.
Yeah.
But like I don't have those desires. I don't have a desire to get like a Corvette and relive my youth. You know what I mean? Like I think I'm going to age pretty gracefully. But I got this list of things.
I'm trying to think of what you could do for me to be like, ooh, he's not taking it well.
Maybe some will be on this
All
list.
right.
So what I'm asking, these are things that are like less expensive signs of a midlife crisis.
Okay.
And I want you to feel out whether or not you're close to this already, because I think you'll hit a midlife crisis far before I will.
I'll definitely keep getting my Botox. I'll definitely keep
That's a
dyeing my
sign.
hair.
That's a sign.
Yeah.
Midlife crisis for people that can't afford the sports car. Being the oldest in the club. You just said the other night you were at the bar and you were clearly the oldest.
When?
I think you said you were at the Loon the other night and everybody
yeah.
was so much younger than you.
That was so sad.
So
Oh my
you're on your
God.
way to a crisis.
Okay. So many crop tops. Okay.
Starting a drug habit just on the weekends.
Well, what's a drug? Like an
Well, I don't
opioid?
know, weed or I guess weed or, grandma's pills that are left over when you go visit her.
I don't like feeling out of control. So
All right.
probably not.
Getting another tattoo like you should have done when you were a little bit younger. Oh, I see you smiling. You're thinking about it.
I've been thinking about another tattoo for a while now, but
What are
I
you
just
gonna
like,
get?
why would I purposely want to hurt myself? It's painful.
How about buying expensive vintage toys from your childhood?
No,
That's
that
a
is
sure
my
lifestyle.
sister. My sister does that all the time.
I'll tell you this much. If I saw one of those sit-down Pac-Man games with the screen, the tabletop ones,
Yeah.
and it was in good condition, and it was at a good price,
I could see that in your
your
basement.
boy would roll up.
Yeah.
I think I'd grab one of those.
Okay.
Dyeing your hair an outrageous color. Like if you went purple, pink.
Did I show you that fire red that I wanted to do that one time? It's not like murder redhead. It is like, it's beautiful. It's like Chelsea from Teen Mom 2 had it for a while. I want that.
Another sign that Kat might be going through a midlife crisis while you're listening to the radio in the next few years. She starts partying with your adult children friends as Liam becomes 17, 18, 19.
Yeah.
Will you be sitting and partying with those kids around the campfire? Oh, you will. I see it in your face already.
When they're maybe in college, maybe, but like I think it's so funny to go back home and hang with my friends' parents and have stuff to talk about and drink with. It's crazy.
Here are two that I have clearly fallen to that indicate that I've gone through my midlife crisis already. Caring way too much about my lawn and then bragging how awesome it is.
Yup. No one wants to
And
hear about the lines.
The back-to-back on this is getting really into smoking meat. Mm-hmm. God, I love the idea.
God, you and your jerky.
I had wings the other day. I slow cooked for 6.5 hours. Woo!
You're that commercial. What's the commercial? Don't clap at a movie. Nobody that made it is here.
You still clap
You
on
don't
an
need a
airplane, so it's the
co-chair.
same thing.
That is true.
Getting really into making sourdough bread is another indicator you're going through a midlife crisis, and I could see you getting into this.
Maybe baking a little bit. Yeah.
If you're married, thinking about bringing someone else into the marriage?
No, I can't even handle
That
this
sounds
one.
exhausting. I just
To do it with two people?
it sounds like it's a
Horrible.
lot of pressure.
Yeah.
I don't know if I need that right now. All right.
Showering.
A couple more. These are indicators that you might be headed for your midlife crisis. Turning your garage into a video arcade.
Okay.
I have friends that did this with the golf simulator. Actually, Lainey and Scott live across the street. They turned their garage into they have a golf simulator in there.
Do they really?
And then-
How much is that?
I don't know what that
feel
goes
like
for,
that'd be
but
a
I think
lot.
you can buy it like Costco or Sam's. You can buy one, and it's just got the video screen that you hit into, and they set that up. But then Trish has a cousin. What they did is they turned their garage. They bought a video projector from their school when they were refurbishing it, and they hooked their Wii up to it. and they have league bowling nights.
Nice.
And they just painted a big white screen on the wall, and their friends all come over. Everybody brings a six-pack, and it's just their neighborhood. They all have a Wii, like Monday night is Wii bowling in their garage.
And you're never invited?
Well, they live a long way away, and plus they don't like us.
Okay.
Sadly, I had to admit to about a half a dozen of these 12 things that would indicate I'm going through a midlife crisis. So I take it back. You're not going through nearly the crisis I am.
Yeah, I think I only have a few on that list. And like I said, I'm not going to age gracefully, and it's just not how I'm going to go. I'm going to be fly until the end.
Which is weird because your mom just decided to let it all go.
Wow.
So it was about a year ago that my wife Tricia and I went to Chicago for the weekend. You know, I'm a big Cubs fan, so we try and make a pilgrimage every year to go out and catch a couple Cubs games. And the part that sticks in my brain is we're sitting in this bar. I think it was, we had a 1 o'clock game, and I think we were there at like noon, and a fire truck went racing by, and it was really loud. And Trish looks at me, and she's like, that was a super loud, and then she couldn't come up with the word fire truck.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's weird, because, I mean, she's really articulate, and one of the smarter people I know. And then I noticed, you know, we go to the baseball game, and she just kind of was a little bit in like a haze and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, she got vacation brain, you know? Like we all do. We all shut it down when you're not working. And then towards the end of the trip, I noticed like a lot of words were missing, and she was like pausing a lot. And it was kind of like if you hit pause on your Netflix,
yeah,
she's just kind of doing that. And so, like, I kind of talked her into it on the plane ride home. Like, you got to go see somebody, right? And so we go into the clinic, and they said the nurse practitioner that she saw said this is presenting like MS, and obviously we're pretty shook. And she said you got to go get an MRI. So we get an MRI, and they call us back right away, and they said you got to get her into the hospital. And the weird part is now you get the information back on your My Chart, like before a doctor can even call you. So we see on her My Chart that she has a tumor in her brain. And, you know, obviously our worlds are rocked a little bit. And we run into the hospital real quick, and they admit her, and we talk to a neurologist, and he's like, the first thing is we're going to get the swelling down. And everybody was so caring. They're like, we're so sorry you're going through this. You're so young. And so the next day she gets a biopsy, and we come home. But the weird part was, like, I really thought I kind of lost her there, because she had after the biopsy, and I'm not told any of this, but your brain is like swollen and your body's trying to recover and everything like that. And she was just like not there. And it was really, really hard for the first couple of weeks. And then I noticed, you know, things kind of started coming back. And finally, after like 4 or 5 days, we get the results that she's got a lymphoma, and there's 2 or 3 spots in her brain that had accumulated into a tumor. And so we're like, all right, well, what are we doing? And the next thing you know, you meet with an oncologist, and her oncologist was really, really cool about, we're going to cure this. And the first thing that I was like was, how can you say that?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, you know, this type of cancer reacts really well to the chemotherapy, and she's young and she's healthy. And then they checked to make sure it didn't go anywhere else in the body. And that was good, because that came back that it was just kind of only kind of in her brain. And so we start the process. And the first few months are really tough, but they hammer you on the chemo because your body is the strongest and it hasn't really depleted your immune system. And so the first couple of months, she's basically got some kind of a drug in her body at all times trying to kill this cancer. And then you get the first MRI back after a couple of months, and it was like a 40% shrinkage in the tumor. And this is where, but after those first couple of months, like, she was trying to be super strong about it, but you could tell it was really wearing on her body and stuff like that. But she didn't really falter. And then after the next few months, so they tell us it's going to be about 16 cycles. So that means it's about 14, 15 months, maybe, something like that. And you just kind of keep plugging along. And she kept plugging along. She plans my daughter's graduation. She's going to all the hockey games, all the football games, all this stuff, right? But it meant her being in the hospital 1 week a month. And in the beginning, the first 4 months, it was 2 weeks a month. And it was killing her not being around her family. And it was just, I mean, our kids were good about it, and they understood. And you could tell, I mean, it was my son's sophomore year in college, and my other daughter was going to be a senior in high school, and then the youngest was only 13, and I was like, oh my God, to have your mom go through this. So I was really, really, worried about how they were going to handle it, but she was so strong through all of it. So long story short, we get to yesterday, we go in, and we got MRI results over the weekend from her last MRI, and she was only supposed to, according to this protocol, have a treatment of June, July, August, and September. So we knew that there were 4 cycles left. And we got the MRI results back over the weekend, but they're hard to read. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be a Philadelphia lawyer to figure this out. But we knew that it hadn't grown at all. That's what we could determine from the MRI. And we go and we meet with her oncologist tomorrow before, this is like her week in the hospital. That's why I left the show early yesterday. But her oncologist comes in and she goes, yep, your labs look good. And here's the results of your MRI. And we're both expecting her to go, it's good. We obviously got 4 months of treatment left and we'll finish, shrinking this tumor. And she goes, it's clean. There's nothing left in your brain.
That's incredible.
And I can't even tell you just the flood of like relief that we both looked at each other and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I had to even ask, I'm like, you're sure? And she's like, yeah, there's no sign of a tumor. The tumor is gone. And I was like, oh my God, all your fears kind of, they go away. Like I had so many fears of like her not being around to see grandkids and like, I don't know what I would do without her. Like I would be completely lost. And like all of that kind of just finally went away. And you store it in the back of your mind because you don't want to think about it. You don't want to be active on it. But she's like, yeah, the tumor's gone. So it makes her being in the hospital this week and then in July and in August and September, probably a little bit easier. But right away, my daughter, who just graduated high school, texted me. She's like, we have to have a huge ass party for Mom when this is all over. And I'm like, yeah, we'll get something together and stuff like that. But it was just such a good day yesterday. And it was like the first time that I went, I mean, you get, hey, the tumor shrunk. Good day. Hey, the tumor shrunk again. Good day. Hey, we've only got 4 cycles left. Good day. You got all those little good days. But like, it was a great day. And I drop her off at the hospital and she's going to go in for her chemo. And she's like, hey, you want to run and grab, some food or whatever? And so I was going to go get sushi. She's like, stop by Nolan's baseball game and, just watch. Let me know how it's going. And you could tell it was kind of killing her not to be there. So I went over there and I told him and he gave me a huge hug and you could see like little tears in his eyes in the dugout. And then he was telling all his friends, my mom's tumor's gone. My mom's tumor's gone. So you see a 14-year-old young man and you realize that he's still a little kid, you know what I mean, and how much he needs his mom. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because with so many people have reached out and been so supportive over all this, and you don't realize I'm not a take help kind of guy usually. But it was so cool to see so many people reach out and say, we're thinking about you, we're praying for you and stuff like that. So I just wanted to share good news because I know we don't get enough of it every day. And we're here, obviously we do the news and we talk about stuff a lot, but there's not enough good news going around. But it was good. It was good to see the protocol work. It's good to see a glimmer in her eyes like this is almost over and stuff like that. And it was just, life just kicks you right in the sack sometimes.
But to get that news on a Monday, it's just get through September, right? And then maintenance and check up on it. And
in the
awesome.
next 4 months, she'll do her chemo treatments, but it's basically to pick up on any rogue cells that are still floating around. But to know that, that her body's recovering really, really well and holding up really, really well. So I just want to say, for people that have reached out throughout the course of this last year, which has been really, really tough for my family, really, really grateful. So thank you for your support and your thoughts and your prayers are not going unnoticed.
Radio Paparazzi.
You get to celebrate Juneteenth with Lizzo as she is giving her fans an inside look into her, everyday life with this huge giveaway.
Hey y'all, it's Lizzo, and it's that time of year again. It's Juneteenth time. We have incredible grand prizes, like, for example, an experience for you to fly out to see me on tour and have a big girl or big boy or big body experience with me and my girls and dance with us.
That's what they call it, a big body experience?
I'm going to start telling people that when they hang out with me. You're about to have a big body experience. Last night on The Tonight Show, parents, Kristen Bell may or may not have made your kids very excited.
I would like to officially announce, with zero authority, Frozen 3. Please bear in mind, I did say zero authority because I can't do that.
Yeah, you can't announce it.
I can't do that. No, I'm not in charge.
But there could be something maybe in the works and maybe happen. Maybe.
Well, I'll keep it mysterious. But I know Adina recently said she would do it, and I feel like if we're all in, like...
We're all in. Come on, we want it. We love
Let's
you.
do it.
Kristen Bell.
Frozen 3, possibly, but I don't think she would have even said anything if it wasn't already either midway done or...
It's probably leaked in a couple sources already.
So Logan Paul did that very distasteful video back in 2017 in the Suicide Forest, did a vlog about it, and he had thought that he and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson were getting really close, and Dwayne's like, I ain't touching none of
I got
that.
a call from my publicist. She's like, hey, Dwayne has asked that you remove every picture and video that you've done with him, and maybe in the future, the relationship can be reconciled, but for now, he basically wants nothing to do with you.
That's a tough spot to be in, man.
Perfect example of the company that you keep, The Rock is like, listen, I got to keep this squeaky clean image. I don't
That guy's
going to
be our next president. He can't be associated with stuff like this.
Absolutely not. Blowing out their candles today. I love her. Singer Lana Del Rey is 37. Edward Snowden is 39. And Juliette Lewis turning 49 today. Officials are looking for a man suspected of breaking into a car repair shop and stealing tools and an SUV. Gaffkey's auto repair in Randall was broken into around 2:30 a.m. and police say that the suspect took a Sawzall. Is that how you say it? Sawzall. And an impact driver set, also stealing a 2004 Chevrolet Trailblazer. The video is crystal clear. I mean, it's a matter of days.
I'm sure
until they figure out who it is.
Here's the deal. This has to be somebody who was on their very last hair. And here's why. It's a 2004 Trailblazer.
Yeah.
I've never understood that. Maybe.
And we also said don't rob, if you're looking for money too, don't go to auto repair shops. Everything is so expensive. People pay with their
Who
card.
should they rob, Kat?
Who should they rob?
Yeah, if they're going to rob somebody, who would you recommend
they
they
were a robber? No, I'm just kidding. But you can see the whole video on our website. Just type in keyword news.
There's
Check it out.
cameras everywhere right now. You have to be a smarter thief.
So a new report on the police response to last month's school shooting in Uvalde, Texas, has revealed a very different picture than the one that was initially presented. It seemed that the first officers who responded were equipped with rifles and at least one shield within 20 minutes, as well as a tool to breach the room where the shooter was. Of course, parents don't want to hear that. That one parent that found out that her daughter bled out. If she were saved even 30 minutes prior, she could have still been here. A lot of parents having to talk to their kids about returning to school in the fall, and they're not ready yet.
I'm more angry that they're trying to cover up a lot of things and trying to hold us back from speaking. Also, just that they should have just gone in there and done their job. Basically, they just didn't do their job.
She don't really want to talk about it. It's like she lived through it and she don't want to relive it. And she is afraid to go back to school. She's just scared if it might happen.
I would be terrified to go back to school. I'd be terrified as a parent to send my kid back to school not knowing they're as safe as possible. Not at all.
Hot fun in the summertime.
Today is the first official day of summer, and it happened just an hour ago. The June solstice began summer, so now we can officially say it's
Oh,
summer.
good, because it was only 101 back in the spring yesterday.
I know. It was crazy.
It was as hot as Phoenix in St. Cloud, Minnesota yesterday.
It's summer today. I can't believe it's
I can't believe it's finally here. I can't believe it's summer,
I can't believe it's almost July, which is just crazy.
Can't wait to do a whole show where we say, can you believe it's July already?
Seems like yesterday it was just June. All right, so here are two big reasons not to go to this year's World Cup. It's being held in Qatar, where sex outside of marriage is banned, and drinking and partying. So how are people going to celebrate? They're calling it the biggest buzzkill ever.
What is wrong with these people? They have no willpower. I once went 28 years without having sex. And then again for 7 years.
Sounds like your life story.
So imagine you're at the breach of it, right? You're like, oh my gosh, our team is going to make the World Cup. Guys, by the way, where is it? Oh, it's in Qatar.
Yeah.
No sex, no booze. Nah, you know what? Let's lose 9-0 here. Let's make sure we don't get there.
Yeah, we'll wait until the next World Cup
what a
round.
buzzkill. You could have been playing in Brazil or anywhere, but then they're like, no, we're going to have it in Qatar this year.
Brilliant. It is wedding season. My brother's getting married in 1 month from today.
He was just a quiet little kid.
He was 12.
I can't believe he got himself a wife on the way. He got a baby. He got a life and everything like that. It is, I know everybody has one of those people in their lives where you always see them as a little kid. I will forever see your little brother Michael as just a little kid with a little smirk on his face. And it is going to be crazy to see these wedding pics. And when I show up unannounced.
Yeah. So, like, every time I see him with his little family unit, I'm like, he's such a man now. And I'm so excited for him. But they're, like, planning out every detail. I think she's doing something special for her dad, maybe keeping that under wraps. But another friend of mine, Stacy, is getting married in 2 months from now, and she's doing something special for her dad. He's helping. She hasn't even gotten her dress yet. He's helping her pick out her dress, and she's like letting him in on all of these really nice things that normally like the mother and daughter do together.
Yeah.
But her dad has been, he was our coach all through any sport, you know, like he's always been everywhere and doing everything with her. And she's like, why not include him in these little cute little moments? They're going to do like one of those first look videos, you know, where the dad turns around and then he just loses it.
Not the fiance, but the dad?
She might be doing it with Max too.
I didn't know they ever did that.
And so I was like, that's really cute that you're incorporating your dad into that stuff. I think it's really special. My dad had we had a first date. He obviously walked me down the aisle on the yacht. And then we had our first dance.
The food was so cold.
Please stop
at your
focusing
wedding.
on that stuff.
It was like, you ever eaten cold chicken?
You know what I feel bad about, though? My reception. So my friend Missy from high school, she was the one that got me into smoking in the first place in high school. And I had quit smoking for so many years. And then on my wedding night, I was like wine wasted. And she goes, hey, let's go out in the alley.
For old time's sake, let's hit a heater.
I'm like, all right. What a dumb thing to do, because it never tastes the same once you're like done smoking forever. You're like, why did I even try it again? So I go in the alley. My poor dad, who had been just busting his hump all day to make my day nice, like doing things, bringing the gifts out to the car so they're safe and everything like that. He comes walking down the alley with my little brother.
Oh.
And says,
you're out there grabbing
what
a dart.
What are you doing? And I put it out like I'm 14 again, you know, like blow the smoke away and everything. And then I had to go inside right away, smelling like smoke, and do my father-daughter dance. So if I could do it all over again, I would not have gone out in the alley with Missy.
Well, he had been disappointed in you for so long, and you finally started working your way back in.
We had the cherry on top of it.
More disappointments.
Disappointment Sunday. So I want to know, how are you incorporating your dad in a fun way, or doing something fun for your dad? We're talking about, obviously, wedding season and incorporating your dad into certain things. I didn't really plan on doing like kitschy things like the turnaround video, the first look video with your dad where he sees his little girl all grown up. You know, I could just, it was like yesterday you were 4 years old. Now you're in this wedding dress getting ready to walk down the aisle. I know that my brother's fiance planning to incorporate her dad, doing something nice for him. They're very close. So I wanted to know, were there certain things like, did Tricia incorporate Terry at all into the wedding?
No, man. And I don't think that's his style. Like he's the kind of guy where, but I do, listen, I'm standing up there and my dad is my best man.
Yeah.
So it's myself, my old man, my friends, and he walks down the aisle and I take the 2 or 3 steps down at the altar thing, and it wasn't really, we were at the altar, but we were at the front of the church, and I go to shake his hand, and he had a smile on his face, like he was so happy for his daughter.
Yeah,
but he shook my hand so hard.
Oh,
it was a message. It was an inside message that I will flat out murder you if you do this girl wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember grabbing her hand, like he shook my hand with his right. And shook his hand, whatever. And I grabbed Tricia's hand with my left. And I remember like flexing my hand back and forth a couple of times.
Yeah.
And I looked at my dad and he just had the biggest smile on his face.
The
like,
blood going
I
back
know
in there.
exactly what you're going through right now, because I'm sure the same thing happened to him back in the day.
So did you incorporate, we had a couple of texts come through. Emma says, I sewed my dress fabric onto the back of my dad's tie, which is kind of cute.
That's cool.
Incorporate that. And then Lisa says, my dad's actually marrying us. My mom says he's so worried about crying. He's got 4 weeks to get his act together. Lisa, you sound so nice and sentimental. But
we appreciate you guys' texts and phone calls on this. Thank you.
I want to highlight my neighbor Ron because he is so awesome. We have Christian and Luwinda and their 4 kids, little kids, 4 under 6, moving in next door. So they bought the house like 2 months ago, right? But they live in South Dakota. So they waited for the kids to get out of school, packing up, and now they're headed this way, and they move in on Thursday.
Cool.
So Ron took it upon himself to get the mower out yesterday, by the way. I think we all know how hot it was yesterday. Gets the mower out, mows their lawn, puts their sprinklers on so they don't roll up to
a fried out lawn.
Weed fried out lawn. And he did it just because. He's like, I just want to, say welcome to the neighborhood.
What a good dude.
I was like, hey, I was getting around to that. I was
watching from here, thinking about it.
Yeah, and I just wanted to acknowledge him because I thought that was really cool, Ron. Good move. My house next. Come do my house. So if you have somebody that you feel like you want to give a shout out to, a feel-good segment.
Melissa, thanks for calling the show. Who do you want to shout out here?
I'm giving a shout-out to my boy, Brandon.
Okay.
He's so sweet. We're roommates, and he's so sweet. He makes my coffee for me every morning. But this morning, he put a little note with a smiley face. So I'm like, you know what? You deserve some credit for your thoughtfulness.
That is so sweet. Roommate as in, like, somebody you're dating or just, like, a different gender?
Just a roommate.
Okay.
He's just a roommate. I'm sure he'd want to date me, but...
That's what I was saying. I don't think he's just a roommate, girl, if he's drawing stuff on your cups of coffee, but at least he makes you feel good, right?
He does, and I feel safe, and it's good.
Oh, see, that's precious, but he wants to get in your bed.
He wants a little bit more.
Yeah, that's...
He wants some of that.
You should understand that very few guys will just do nice things for people that are living under the same roof as them if they're not currently
fornicating,
putting the hammer down.
Yeah. Doing our feel-good segment. Every now and then I like to do this because there's nothing better than acknowledging somebody for doing something. Maybe they don't even know they were being watched, or maybe somebody did something for you that you want to acknowledge. So I do want to shout out for Ashley. She says, my sister got married, got a new job, bought a house all this month. Go, Jessica. So it's nice to
That's some heavy stuff. That's a lot going on.
That is a lot of life stuff.
Dominique, who we shouting out this morning?
Oh, the crazy part is I don't know his name. He works at Burger King on Division, and I was trying to get my son some lunch because he had did a good thing for a cousin, so I was trying to reward him with a lunch out.
Okay.
And I turned around I did not bring enough money. I only brought enough money for him a lunch and not me. And then I was like, oh, champ, you take off that other meal? I'll just get his. And he actually heard us talking in line about how it's good to help people and how he's, the oldest, grandchild. So he did a really good job by helping. So he ended up just giving us the other one free. He gave me my lunch free. And he was like, you know what? Don't worry about it. You're doing a good job.
You saw firsthand how he did something great, and then you rewarded him. And then by you doing something great as far as parenting that way, you got rewarded. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was like, just take it off. And he was like, you know what? It's fine. You're doing a great job as a mom. Just keep it up. And I was like, oh.
Is there any better compliment than you're doing great as a mom?
I don't think it can be. It just melted me there. I was like, oh.
If somebody tells you you're doing a great job as a mom, that's better than, hey, nice rack.
There's nothing better. For an example, got an email last night. So I send Liam with the mission on the last day of school. Bring this candle and this card to your teacher. All right? Okay. He comes home and he goes, oh, look, Miss Canerza gave me a card. I go, that was for her.
I thought it was from her.
So I wrote her and I said, hey, just found out that Liam did not give you the card. Just wanted to say thanks for being a great teacher. He learned a lot. He loved you. And then she just wrote back, I was truly blessed to have Liam as a student. He's such a kind-hearted, helpful, very smart boy. Couldn't ask for a more ideal student/human. You're raising a fine young man.
You bought this?
What?
What, you want to see what's going on here?
What?
She wants the card. She had to say something nice about your kid.
I just told her what was in the card.
She had to say something nice about the kid because she still wants the gift in the card.
There's no gift in the card.
She got a kid.
There was a gift that he gave her And he didn't give her the card
She
with the
still thinks
sentiment.
there's something in the card, like a gift card
No.
for Starbucks or something. That's
She's
what
a
she's
sweet
angling
lady.
on. Nobody says nice things about kids.
Everyone says nice things about my kid. That's where you know you're doing something right as a parent. And that's like the attaboy. I like it. So
Maybe I've never got one of those, so I don't know.
yeah, I think that's why you're just like puzzled.
Radio Paparazzi.
Or open them nice and wide. I would. Oliver Hudson is pretty hot, but he is exploring other options of entertainment.
Hey, it's me, Oliver Rutledge Hudson. This is a serious question. I need some input. I'm thinking about starting an OnlyFans page. I'd love some comments. I'm trying to take a bit of a survey here to see if this is something I should maybe pursue.
That's Kate Hudson's brother. That's Goldie Hawn's son. He's also, if your kids are a fan of like the Christmas movie Christmas Chronicles with Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell, he's the dad, the firefighter dad that dies. But
he's
sorry
just
to ruin
playing
it for you.
around. He's not going to get nicked.
No, he's not. Everyone's making a big deal over the fact that Jennifer Lopez, she posted a Father's Day tribute video to Ben Affleck, and not the actual father of her twins, Mark Anthony, but come on, she's in love.
This is the best time of my life. I love my career, but nothing is more fulfilling to me than being able to build a family with someone who I love deeply and who is just as dedicated to family and to each other as we can be. And I'm feeling incredibly blessed.
There's a new documentary. It's called Halftime. Have you seen it?
No.
Like the promo with her, and it follows
It's
her.
supposed to be about her and Shakira and how they, what did they lock horns about some of the performance stuff?
Maybe that's in there, but it just chronicles how she's wanted to do Halftime forever, and then the phone call that she got it, and then the preparation that goes into it, and how much of a BA chick she is. Like, she's bossing all these young dancers around, like, this is how you do it. And Ben Affleck in this video, like, how do you keep getting better looking? Like, I just don't understand. He is so good looking.
Probably happiness.
Yeah, maybe. Justin Bieber, he always raves about his wife, Hailey Bieber, and he is going to do it right now.
I think, like, she loves me being happy, and, like, she's so awesome and cares about me so much. She would just love the fact that I'm happy doing what I love.
He better not mess this up.
Sounds like they got a good thing going, too. She seems happy. He seems happy. Good for those kids.
Blowing out their oh my God, I sound so old. Sweet kids. He's not that much younger than me. Blowing out their candles
Just
today.
looks it.
Prince William is 40. Edward Snowden is 39. And Lana Del Rey is 37.
Let's begin now. Anybody up feeling a little not as chipper as you should because you were up all night listening to storms roll across?
I didn't even notice
my
until
God.
the lightning. I turned on the other side and the lightning was going through my eyelids. I didn't hear anything. Did you hear thunder and stuff? I didn't hear thunder.
Heavy rain.
Really?
And then I have some trees that are going to need to get cut back because with the heavy winds, they were brushing against the side of my house now.
Yeah.
And so that had me up, and then I was just kind of like checking it because it was coming in such heavy waves for a while, and there's damage all across the state because of the storms last night. So we'll feather that out and figure out what's going on with that. But thanks for joining us this morning. I'm JJ Katz here as well. How was the day yesterday? What'd you do? Give me something fun.
It was good. Now that it's summer, Derek will bring Liam in midday, and then Liam and I will start the rest of our day, whether it's shopping or going out to lunch or running errands. And so he went with me to get my mini peel at Midwest, which you can still now win on our Facebook page. I'm going to give you until tomorrow morning. We'll find a winner.
Okay.
Then we went to Mongo's, and I had a
I haven't been there in
full
forever. Good call.
meat veggie bowl. No noodles, but it was so good. And then topped it off with some cherry berry. You know what I'm saying?
Loving cherry berry. Good call.
And then cleaned a little. We had a barbecue chicken dinner with some like sweet kern that I may or may not have stolen from a local farmer. No, I'm just kidding.
Wait, what? You're stealing corn out of a farmer's field?
Have you never done that where you just stop on the side of the road? Yeah, me neither.
No. Listen, and here's why. At an early age, my old man would ship me off to my uncle's farm, and I know how hard those guys work for their money. I would listen. There is a very well-known fact that amongst farmers, if you get caught doing that, you might take a BB to the back.
I'm joking with you.
I
Because
don't think you are.
Show me where corn's ready. So obviously I'm lying. Show me where corn's ready. Walmart is where I got it, to be honest with you. And I think they get it from local farmers. But anyway.
I don't think so.
Yes, they do.
You're telling me the Walmart in
Yes.
Sartell buys their sweet
do.
corn from local
They
farmers,
do.
not
It
from
says
someone
it right
in Iowa?
it says it right on the placard.
What does
there.
local mean to them?
I don't know. Ask them. It says, thanks to local farmers. Enjoy your sweet corn. So that's where I got it.
They're thanking local farmers. They're not saying they're getting it from local farmers.
What are you talking about?
If I say
Wouldn't
thanks
you
to-
read that and go,
Thanks,
oh,
local
they get
farmers.
It. Yeah. Thank you, local farmers.
They're just thanking them. They're not necessarily saying the corn's coming from there.
Then we had a movie night, The Lost City, with Channing Tatum and Sandra Bullock and Brad Pitt. And Brad Pitt is like so fine. I can't even with him.
Like
how
staring at the
how
sun?
do you even get like that? As he gets older and he's standing there and they pan over and he's got like distressed jeans on and like long, blonde, crazy hair. And ooh, I just can't. So, yeah, it was good.
It's not easy. I can tell you that much.
Okay. Well, this is a bummer. Child care providers across Minnesota, they're upset, understandably so, that they're not eligible for the state's COVID-19 Hero Pay program. They helped out so many parents, like parents that were nurses, frontline workers that are getting this hero pay.
Yeah, that seems logical that they should have been in part of this.
I agree with you. Putting themselves in harm's way and exposed to everything that frontline care workers were as well. And so the law enables people who were employed at least 120 hours between a certain dates to apply for state-funded bonuses, which are up to $750 each. And listen, if you haven't applied, it looks like there is a number of people that haven't. So up to 667,000 workers could receive it. But as of Thursday, only 626,000 workers have applied for their bonuses. Get that money. That's yours. So if everyone applies and they're eligible, $470 million from the state. So
These are the gas prices. When the gas prices skyrocket, we sell it, make a huge profit. Hug, hug, gas, gas, gas.
all right. So Biden considering a suspension of the federal gas tax, which would save Americans about 18 cents per gallon. Also confirming that he's close to making a decision on student debt. So looks like hopefully by the end of the week, we're going to hear on both of those. That would be wonderful. Victoria Hernandez, this is a story that's going viral today. So she is from Phoenix and she has a cake business and a bakery business called Mariah's Butterfly Bakery. And she is now obviously flying way above what happened with this customer
The
here.
first thing that came to my mind was my daughter because, you know, she looks just like me. If not, you know, even she has curly hair, brown eyes, and I just think about her. And even the fact that, you know, this lady one day, her kids could go to school with my daughter. I think that the one thing that's most important with something like that, when you're faced with somebody that's really hateful or they have this anger towards you, to still meet them with the dignity and grace that you would want.
So the message she got from this person that had asked for Victoria to make a cake, she wrote, I was under the impression that I was supporting a fellow American small business. I see by pictures you are Mexican, and I can't support that. There are hardworking Americans out there who I'd rather support. And so, Victoria is so classy. She hid the name. She didn't want to put anybody on blast, but she just wanted to put it out there that this stuff still exists, and it's pretty terrible. So a new study has ranked the most patriotic states in the country for 2022, and it looks like Alaska is at number 1, Montana is at number 2, and then Minnesota, we are at number 27.
That's it? Wait.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
I mean, it's still top half, but
North
barely.
Dakota was in the top 5. So what are we doing wrong? I feel like we're
I wonder what the
pretty patriotic.
criteria is to be the most patriotic. I feel like we do a good job here. I see a lot of flags out.
Yeah, they have obviously states that had the most military and civic engagement is what they kind of based it on.
Yeah, I suppose if you have a bigger base, I mean, we have Ripley, we've got Snelling, but it's not like, you know, if you're around Bragg or something like that.
Amp it up, Minnesota.
Let the dogs out!
I wouldn't ever qualify Addie as a bad dog. Would you? Like a mean dog?
We have a big dog, right? She's a golden doodle, and she's probably 70 pounds. She's not mean. Here's the deal. She's still a puppy.
Yeah.
And she's super playful, so she'll bark at everything. The neighbor's cat, the deer that come into our yard. If I take her for a walk and she sees another dog, she will, because she wants to play. Like her tail is wagging. And when she gets around another dog, she'll just paw at it. And like she's super playful, but she's not mean. Like she'll jump up on you because that's the nature of our dog, and my wife has not wanted it to really get trained, but she's not a mean dog. No, not by any means.
Well, I was at a gig the other day, and this woman comes and stands in line, and I'm talking to her, and I was like, oh, cute dog. And I went to kind of reach over, and the lips started going up.
It almost did it nip at you?
No, it didn't, but it probably would have. And she goes, oh, I wouldn't. He's kind of a mean dog. And I'm like, why?
Keep it on a leash.
Why is he out of the car? It had like a vest on, but like a holder on top of the vest.
Yeah, okay, so more like what do you call it? It's
like a restraint handle type of thing. So she had it in her arms and then was holding that because obviously it could probably get her into some trouble. If a dog bites somebody else, it's the owner's fault. But I'm like, and there's a family of like kids right in front of her. I'm like, if you knowingly have a mean or bad dog, why would you bring them out in public? And why would you like not boast about it, but like,
I think
I wouldn't. He's a mean dog.
Some people just don't necessarily understand the little rules of society we have. And if your dog potentially is going to be mean and bite somebody, then it's got to be at your home.
My cousin had a dog too that was really mean and nasty to anybody other than immediate family. So like they could never have guests over, and she would always want to host, and all you'd hear was like that from the laundry room.
Oh,
you know,
the
like
dog
they'd
would
have to
want out.
lock it up. And the whole time, I'm like, how have you not gone to extra lengths to get this thing in like a little doggy camp? Or get them some pills that you can put some peanut butter on and throw it in their mouth and make them
knock them out?
I don't know. Whatever you got to do to make them nicer. But do you have something that would qualify as a mean dog or know somebody that does? I would love for Chrissy to call in. She says the cops have been called multiple times on the dog that we have. So if you could call, that'd be awesome. But you have something that could qualify as a mean dog. Oh, now I'm getting crap from Alyssa. She goes, well, did you ask permission to touch this dog beforehand? Do you always ask permission? No,
I do.
Don't.
If I'm at my wife will bring our dog to the baseball games that we're at every once in a while. And if somebody else has a dog, I'll always go, is this okay? I do.
You do.
I always do.
Not.
I always do. You know what I'm most afraid of is that I won't recognize that it's a service dog and I'm not supposed to pet it. I fear that because I don't know the repercussions of petting a service dog. I just know that they're trained some are trained to not be petted. Petted?
Pet?
Is that right? Petted.
Well, I just had a run-in with a woman at one of my gigs the other day, and she had brought her dog out of the car because it was so hot. And she was holding the harness. Thank you for the words, Jesse.
Harness, yeah, that's what we're looking for.
So she was holding the harness, and I went to like touch the dog, and I could see the lips curl up a little bit, like, and so she goes, "Oh, don't do that. He's a mean dog." I'm like, "Why is he out with
should
the
be on the
public
leash
then?
at home, right?
Going to get you into some trouble, girl." So, do you have a mean dog?
Amy, tell me about it.
I had my in-laws move in from out of state.
Okay.
Because they needed a place to stay until they found their own. And we said, fine, as long as there's no dogs.
Yeah.
They bring 2 yippy dogs with them.
So when did the problem start then?
We got along with our neighbor all the time. No problems until those dogs came in with our in-laws. Next thing I know, we're in an arguing match with our neighbor. He's slicing our tires.
Whoa.
He's knocking over our trash cans, all because of these dogs that our in-laws brought.
Yeah.
We ended up having to call the cops on him a couple times on our neighbor. So it just went from one thing to the other, and our in-laws finally moved out.
Nice.
But the guy kept it up, because at that point he had it with us. So he kept that up. Then he eventually finally moved away.
So those dogs started all of that. Dogs and neighbors, you have to make sure that it's a perfect marriage. If you have your dogs outside 2 doors down from me all the time and they just bark all day at even a blade of grass blowing, that's not good. It's not creating a good environment.
Ours is different because our dog when she found her bark, she uses it all the time. And I'm telling you, it's a squirrel, it's a deer, it's a cat, it's another dog, it's UPS, it's FedEx, it is Speedy, it's whoever's delivering something. And she's, but she's not like, she won't bite you. But she just wants to play with you, and she wants to alert somebody that somebody's here. You know what I mean? Okay. And so it's just kind of like that. Now, Ina, your dog is, you have a doodle too?
I do.
And they're just terrified of people, though, huh?
Yeah, ever since we got her, she's just scared of, like, everyone but our family. She loves my son, but if there's a new person that comes around, she literally will, like, squeal and hide under the table. And it takes her a really long time to kind of warm up, but I've noticed the way that she warms up to people is if you grab one of her little, like, chew toys and kind of throw it to her, she loves to play fetch. And she'll keep bringing it back to you, and that's how she kind of gets more comfortable with you.
Well, did you get her from an environment where she would have every right to be afraid, or did you get her as a puppy?
We got her as a puppy. We got her from a breeder. And this was like my second dog we've had. And so I was kind of like, what the heck is wrong with this dog? Why is she scared of everyone? And I called the breeder and I'm like, I think this is probably not going to be a good fit. I think we might have to bring her back. And he's like, give it a few more days. She's just really scared. She's in a new environment. And then he said that her mom has always been like that, very skittish, very afraid. And he said that sometimes it's like a genetic trait that passes down. But
yeah.
I don't know. Don't come at me if I'm saying it wrong.
No, I think you might be right. I mean, you learn from your parents. I'm sure dogs learn something from their parents. There's probably some genetics involved there, too.
Yeah,
All right.
But she's a very, very sweet dog. She's super lovable. Like I said, with our family, my son is 3, almost 4, and he loves her. She loves him. She will, if you yell at him or raise your voice at him, she will bark at you. Like, what are you doing? Don't yell at me.
I love it.
My human.
She's so protective. I love it. Hey, thanks for hollering at us. I hope you have a really good day today.
Would you consider your old dog mean to the general public because he was so...
We had a Cocker Spaniel, and he was like, you couldn't get within about 30 or 40 feet of our house, and that dog, she would attack, or it was a Charlie. He never bit anybody, but he did attack a neighbor's dog once.
Yeah.
Because they were walking by our house, and this dog broke the leash and busted out after the other dog.
Yeah. Was there drama after that? I forget.
Well, I mean, the neighbors, they said, hey, we had to bring our dog in, and I think we offered to pay for it, and they're like, no, just... I think they were just angling at hey, make sure and keep a stronger leash on your dog. And yeah, it was, I don't know what the deal was with that dog because it didn't have any trauma that we knew about, and we got it as a puppy. Yeah. And it just was so, it was so protective. It just wanted to make sure nobody, I think it was because our kids were little still. I don't know, some kind of a motherly thing that had kicked in. But if you got the mean dog, how do you deal with that? All right, I know we have a really, really smart audience, and I'm not being backhanded here, but here's what's happened over the last 2 weeks. Check this out. I'm driving to our place in Spicer. I'm on Bluetooth with my wife, right? I got my phone plugged in. I'm on Apple CarPlay. All of a sudden, radio silence. Phone stops working. I thought. But here's what happens. I got a 2021 Silverado. Somebody's going to know this, and they're going to be able to help me out. No audio now. I can't get the radio to work. No music through my phone.
What?
Nothing. It just stopped working. So the phone didn't drop out. My wife could still hear everything I was saying, but there's no audio in my truck.
Do you have visual?
Visual.
Okay.
I see the radio. I see the words coming across the radio.
Yeah.
If I hit Apple CarPlay, I see the song, the title, the album cover, all that stuff.
But did you take your Bluetooth off? Can you hear the radio?
No.
Nothing.
Even when there's not a car or a phone even close to the vehicle, I can turn the volume all the way up. Nothing. Restart the truck. No audio.
Ooh.
No blinker audio. You know when you hit your blinker, it goes tick, 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 tick. No audio, but the blinkers work.
Yeah.
Everything works fine except for the radio. There's nothing will come through the
speakers. You got a fried chip. It's going to take you years. They won't have one for you.
So I did all the research I could on the internet, and I looked at all the fuses. No problem with the fuses. I'm at the point where the one thing that somebody suggested on the internet was this is the way the vehicle warns you of a low battery. And I'm like, that truck is less than a year old.
Yeah.
Could your battery really go bad that fast?
Why would they start doing that rather than just putting up your battery? So
I'm looking at the voltage meter on my battery on the instrument panel.
Yeah.
It's always right around 14 volts. And I'm like, is there something maybe terminally wrong with my battery? So I'm about ready to take it to Batteries Plus and have them put the charger or the voltage meter on it.
Yeah.
And last night I'm coming back from a football meeting. My radio starts working.
Oh.
Out of nowhere. Works for 10 minutes. I get home, shut the truck off, get in this morning. Works for 2 minutes. Gone now.
Okay.
Somebody's listening. and understands what this problem is. And then my other question is, if you buy a vehicle, let's say wherever I bought it from can't get me in for service for like a month.
Mm-hmm.
If you buy a vehicle somewhere and it's still under warranty, do you have to go to that dealership to get it fixed? Or can you go anywhere and get it fixed, and then the company that owns your vehicle or the company you bought your vehicle from will cover your warranty?
Yeah, I like to go back to the initial.
I would prefer that. But if they can't get you in for a while, can you go anywhere and get it fixed and have it covered by warranty?
I would say you have to get me in. Like, this is a big deal.
They're not going to prioritize my radio over putting in a new transmission for somebody.
Wow. Why don't you do what you always do and say, do you know who I am?
I don't pull the, hey, have you heard me? I'm Kat on the radio thing like you do. But if you know answers to either of these, if you could call or text, I'm looking for some serious help because I'm kind of an audio junkie. And I like to be able to listen to... You don't understand. If I'm with my own thoughts in my vehicle for a while in silence...
We're in trouble.
You all will suffer.
It says if it is an audio chip situation, 200,000 vehicles in North America alone are waiting. And they say the second half of the year is when you can expect to get that.
That's not acceptable. I'm going to need something else. I don't think it's an audio chip thing because it just worked.
Well, I mean, if it's under warranty, you should be able to just call one of the 700 numbers that you get called by
I'm just saying, because it's such a weird little problem. So if you've been through it, if you know anything about it, call or text. I'd love to get your input on it, and thanks in advance. New research. And for about the next 10 years, we're going to hear all of these stats because of the pandemic. This one was rather alarming to me. 22% of Americans now, quote unquote, because of the pandemic, have not been to the dentist in over a year.
Yeah.
Now,
we have a coworker that hasn't gone in years. And I'm like, how does that? My phone, they call me.
Yeah, right. I get the
tell
text
me
reminders.
It's time.
Well, I just, when I leave, I schedule the rest of them out.
Yeah.
So this is the longest I've gone without being at the dentist because I'm at almost 6.5 months because our company changed dental insurance.
Yeah.
And it didn't cover our dentist anymore. And so I'm switching to my wife's insurance, which actually is cheaper now that we looked into it.
Mm-hmm.
And they do cover my dentist, but I have to wait till the end of this month to get in.
Okay.
Otherwise, you got to pay for it, right? So I'm like, all right, well, I'll just make sure and brush and floss and stuff like that. But 1 in 5 people walking around right now today, if you sit in a conference room or at a job where there's 10 people, 2 of those on average have not been to the dentist in over a year.
That makes my mouth hurt. I haven't had a cavity since I was 12 years old. It's just so important.
I feel blessed that I've always had good enough insurance.
Yeah.
Or my parents had good enough insurance that I was able to go to the dentist anytime.
No, this tooth is ugly.
Yeah? Oh, it's your 10-year molars. Good job.
No, it's not. Is it really?
No. Oh. You're over 10.
Oh.
So weird.
Weird stuff. Everybody called me weird. I am weird.
You don't think this is a little weird?
No, I don't think it's weird at all.
Weird news.
All right, so actually, this has never been done before with weird news. I'm going to give you multiple choice. First, play the audio. Having a great time. Is it either A, dads at a carnival testing their strength as bell ringers? Number 2 will be 2 guys dressed as knights doing pan slapping contests. Or C, blindfolded contestants at a school fair throwing baseballs at a gong. What do you think?
Wait, what was the first one?
Dads at a carnival testing their strength.
Yeah.
No. This is a pan slapping contest at like a Ren Fest. These guys are dressed up with knight helmets.
Oh, and they put the full shield on and then they hit each other with pans until somebody gets knocked out. I've seen this actually.
And then they go home. They don't remember their kids' names or how to drink a glass of water. Why do people do this? You would?
Oh my God, I do this in a heartbeat. If you get to sit down across from someone else, they give you a frying pan, you put on the knight's helmet, and you get to hit each other till somebody gets knocked out.
It's a cast iron. Woo! It's not a normal Teflon pan.
I'm into that.
Hardcore. But that's what people are doing right now.
What do you win?
I think maybe not passing out, and then that's the winner.
I would do it for money easily.
not bleeding through your eyeball, then you're the winner.
What is that, cerebral fluid out of your ear?
And that is what's weird.
The Playhouse Podcast is made possible thanks to Bradshaw and Bryan Law Offices. Catch the live show weekdays from 5:30 to 9 on 104.7 KCLD. Now, share this with a friend.